I apologize if I get up and walk away from this. It will be me driving to Mark's house to strangle him.
Snyder Cut, baby. Snyder. Should I just act like the biggest Snyder Cut fan right now in this episode?
You are, though.
And everybody knows that.
It's a fact.
I wanted nobody this week.
I like that Suicide Squad trailer that we got today better than the whole Snyder Cut.
Then why were you pushing so hard for us to review this a week later?
Hand. Yes, that's your hand. I just fucking lost it.
I think that our review of Snyder Cut is just going to be like, hey, do you remember that part when this stupid thing happened?
And we'll all be like, no.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't remember anything about that movie.
We'll get to it.
Mark, welcome back from your escapades. How much money did you lose in Vegas?
I didn't lose that much. I mainly play roulette when I go to the casino, and stupidly I go to the electronic ones where you don't really have to engage with people. You just like sit there by yourself and drink beer and just like tap on the screen and like make your bets. And there were 4 spins or rolls or what? Yeah, 4 spins that were black 20. 3 out of 4 were black 20. And after that happened, and I was like set on red. I was making like just bets either black or red. I was set on red. 3 times black 20 hit in 4 spins. And I'm like, all right, that's a sign from God. Just stop right now. So I ended up losing. I think I lost like $120, which is nothing for Vegas.
So you go to play roulette and stay away from people. This sounds like I never want to go to a casino with you, first of all. You sound like the most boring gambler of all time. Did you bet on sports or anything? You were there for that, right?
I didn't really bet on sports because I mainly do my betting in the DraftKings app, and you can't do that because you're geo-located, and if you're not in the state where you signed up, you can't make bets.
You didn't go to a sports book?
We were at a sports book, and I decided just not to make any bets because the first day I really didn't bet much. And the couple guys I was with were just losing money. And they're like, they bet a lot on sports. And they're just like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I mean, watch those games. These teams were losing. And I was just like, what the fuck is happening right now?
March Madness. Without the crowd sway, there's a lot of chances for those upsets to happen, which is why we saw so many top tier or higher seeds in the Sweet 16.
Yeah. And if you want to make a bunch of money gambling, just fade Rashid the whole time.
Dude, Oral Roberts, I had enough. I was like, all right, this is not going to go well.
NCAA leading scorer.
Even U of I losing was mind-blowing, but Loyola completely shut them out. I was so surprised by that.
Real frustrating to watch, but it was a good game. It was a really well-played game, and that's how Loyola plays. They're going to pick you apart technically instead of run and gun or like alley-oop dunks and shit.
If they keep playing like that, I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the Final Four and maybe even get to the championship because they were playing good basketball. Like U of I could do nothing. U of I could do nothing.
Tell me that Cameron Krutwig isn't 40 fucking years old though. Look at that dude's face and tell me he's not 42.
It's like Greg Oden.
Seriously,
There was a meme. Do you remember that he's like I forget who it is. He's like the best player on U of I, but he was like crying, like doing the Jordan thing. Did you see that picture of him when they won like their conference or whatever?
In the locker room, yeah, I did.
It was Kobe after he won his first title because like his name's Ayo Dosunmu and he's a huge Kobe Bryant fan, like models his game after him. And
there was a meme where it's like, imagine taking this picture and then losing to this guy. And it was that guy from Loyola. He's just like,
not a good. But in the long run, Ayo Dosunmu is going to be a lottery pick in the NBA, and Cameron Krutwig is never going to go play in the NBA. So who really wins?
It's all right. I was there watching the tournament, and I literally drank 1,000 beers. I did okay.
1,000 beers, okay.
I took one live bet, and it was Smithers telling me to take the Illini at half.
My bad. I owe you a beer. Hand up.
All right. I'll take it in line.
All right, boys. We got a voicemail. And you know what? I'll just play it.
My bad. I won't slam that.
Wow. A blind. Here we go. It's our guy.
You guys, on the day I got my second vaccine for this little pandemic that we got going on now. Shout out to science. So my question is this. What is something that science should dedicate their time to developing a vaccine for? They came up with a corona vaccine in just under 9 months. So what's something else realistically that humans suffer from that should be vaccinated against? Like stupidity or, posting your every shitty opinion on Facebook, something like that. Love y'all. Take care.
There's our guy, Kyle.
So wrong answers only. Right answers, but wrong answers only, more or less. Like he's not asking for a cancer treatment, cancer vaccine. He's asking for something stupider.
You can't vaccinate for stupidity, though. Like that. Kyle, Kyle got his second vaccine because he's a teacher. And teachers should be the vaccinations against stupidity. And we appreciate everything that you do, Kyle. Unfortunately, you can't coach that out of a lot of people, especially if you go south of the Mason-Dixon line. But what are you going to do? Can I be selfish and say, like, we should get a vaccine for heartburn?
Dude, heartburn sucks. I turned 31 and all of a sudden I'm just like, oh, this is coming up. Why is this coming up? This should not be coming up my esophagus right now. Don't be burning my throat. Fuck that.
Dude,
I get medication for it.
Like wine and Mexican food and
coffee,
smoked meats and coffee. It's the fucking worst. And God forbid I have to actually change my life, to increase my quality of life. But
what causes heartburn? Is it like the pH levels in your stomach, like from acidity? Is that what it is?
Literally acidity, like coming back up your esophagus. When I was in high school, I ate half of a deep dish, like Chicago style pizza. As one does, I went to immediately take a nap, and I had acid reflux so bad that the acid burned my esophagus, and I couldn't for a week. So apparently, every 10 days, your esophagus muscles basically turn inside out, and that's their way of healing. Mm-hmm. It's very, very weird. But I went to the doctor, and he was like, "You're fucked." So
that's almost as bad as after when I used to do the fitness competition shit. There was one time where I just went crazy with candy. Like when I was done, there was a whole day where I just sat and ate Sour Patch Kids. And the next day I woke up and I literally had canker sores on my tongue. Like the fucking layer of skin on my tongue was peeling off. It's fucking
dude. If you eat half a bag of Sour Patch Kids, your entire tongue goes numb. I don't know how you could do that for.
I ate them all day, like sour Starburst and Shock Tarts and all that shit.
You just immediately had diabetes.
Completely ruined my life.
So back to Uncle Kyle's question over here. I would say if I could get a vaccine for something, I would get a vaccine to never get hiccups again. Why have we fuck hiccups? I was sleeping and woke up to hiccups one day, and I was never been more furious in my entire life. I woke up to something I was like, oh my God, I have the hiccups. Going back to sleep after that, impossible. Because right when you're about to fall asleep, a hiccup. And then you're up again, and then you're pissed.
Not an option. But I feel like
you had bad sleep apnea too, Brick.
Yeah, nightmare.
Do you really?
No, I got the surgery for it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was gonna say you don't have a CPAP machine, do you? That
no.
That would be a fucking nightmare.
Fuck that, yeah.
Let's see, vaccines. I feel like the hiccup thing kind of goes with the heartburn.
It does. That's what you kind of triggered it, to be honest.
And if I'm going to being self-serving, like anxiety, I would totally. And I guess the cure for anxiety is just marijuana or
Xanax.
But no, dude, Xanax. I have had Xanax, and I've woken up the next day, and it's infinitely worse.
I agree. That happened to me too.
No,
it's it goes away for 10 hours, and then you wake up and you're triple anxiety. Okay. So
it's the
I
feeling
did it once.
Remember when we were coming back from Scottsdale, and we were all just please fucking kill me, please, I just want to die.
Yeah,
that's the feeling I have after I take the morning after I take a Xanax.
Fuck yeah.
You probably felt so bad because not only were you just super hungover with anxiety, you actually destroyed a fucking toilet seat. You fell on that toilet seat. All the porcelain. Dude. All right, back up real quick for our listeners. on his bachelor
Let me
party.
tell the story. Okay.
Right, you tell
Because
the story.
it wasn't the toilet, it was the tank on the toilet.
Even though you were blacked out and I was like somewhat sober to try to help you through it.
I don't know. Let him tell.
Nothing sobers you up like being in an Airbnb, crushing the toilet tank and water just shooting everywhere. Nothing sobers you up like that. So obviously I'm on my bachelor party. You guys are both there. I am beyond slop tart. Like
you were snoring in the bathroom with the door locked.
I puked before noon.
You did. You did.
It's not even noon.
Great time, basically, is what I'm saying. But I was getting up off the toilet and I was so inebriated, which I've had a little come to Jesus meeting with myself since then and said I will never be that drunk again. But you know, that's what a bachelor party's for.
Yeah.
So I'm standing up off the toilet and I immediately just lose my balance and fall ass backwards.
You were standing on the toilet?
No, I stood up. I was sitting on the toilet.
Okay, I thought you like stood on top of the toilet. I was like, you deserve
stand
a
on the
break.
toilet.
That's what I was very curious.
You had full intentions of going to sleep in that bathroom.
Smithers was just dancing to Katy Perry on top of the toilet for some reason.
Baby, fucking passed out.
You work.
Yeah, no, I felt safe there. Okay. So that's what I would. Anyways, I stand up and I immediately fall backwards into the toilet, break the tank, and somehow I hear Mark yell like, "What the fuck?" Because there's like water running out from under the door, and I'm just like,
it's like shooting out by like the gallon. It was just fucking rushing out under the door.
Well, it's like I think a toilet's usually like a gallon and a half per flush. So that's what's usually sitting in the tank. And a gallon and a half of water is a lot of fucking water when you just dump it on the floor. So yeah, I kill the water, the pipe coming out of the wall. And Mark, I owe you a debt of gratitude for cleaning up that water because I would not have been able to do that.
We got lucky with that Airbnb because if you stayed in an Airbnb, there are two types of Airbnbs. There's the Airbnb that has no towels, no amenity, like nothing. And then there's the Airbnbs that have way too many towels. This was one of those Airbnbs that was just stacked with towels. So when this shit happened, I just ran over, grabbed a fucking heaping pile of towels and just threw it down and just soak up all the water.
Meanwhile, I was poisoned by Eddie Lacy and his weed gummies. And I was puking in the sink in the bathroom next door.
No, you're a full coward. Eddie Lacy had great edibles.
Very good edibles.
Hanging out with Eddie Lacy, he's the man.
I have a Vegas story, by the way.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
All right.
I'm done talking about my dumb antics and breaking toilets. That's the second toilet I've broken in my life, by the way.
Known toilet breaker.
Big toilet breaker. This actually goes with Kyle's question about the vaccination. I think we should do a vaccination that prevents people from having like the raunchiest farts. Like having a smelly fart is one thing, but the people that like nonstop have farts where you're like, dude, what the fuck did you just eat? And it just makes you gag. We need to make a vaccination for that. Speaking of that, my story for Vegas is actually coming home from Vegas on the Spirit flight that I was on.
I knew it.
Dude. So I'm sitting next to my good friend John. We went to Vegas together and we're on the flight back and he's pretty far from me. And he just looks back and he's like, he reaches across like 2 aisles to show me his phone. He's like, you smell this fucking guy farting? And I'm just like, and I just go, yeah. And like covering my face with my mask on. And we're about to land. We're like 30 minutes from landing. We're up in the air. All of a sudden, this guy was farting nonstop. Their 3.5 hour Vegas flight home to Chicago. This guy was farting nonstop. This lady, no joke, behind me, she just goes, you know what? You need to stop this right now. You need to stop this right now and use the bathroom. You know who you are. Stop it. This is disgusting on the flight. And I'm just like, no way.
Did she like turn and look at somebody in particular? Was she just like,
nobody would fess up to it? And John, my best friend, he pretty much knew who this person was. He's like, yeah, it's this guy right here. Like I've been fucking eating it all flight. And she's this lady that was like behind me. This is the radius of this guy's fucking raunchy farts. It was like traveling throughout the whole flight. And this lady just got up. She's like, no, we're done with this. And then we land.
This
This isn't even the end of the story. Then we land, and she just starts yakking from the farts.
She starts throwing up.
I felt, and she started crying, and I felt so bad, and I'm just like, you know who the fuck you are, and you did this. You fucking did this. And she's fucking throwing up into one of those little doggy bags, like trying to like pull her mask down and puke. And I'm just like, you are the fucking worst person, whoever you are. You're the fucking worst.
Okay, yes. But let's play devil's advocate here.
God, dude. God.
Are you telling me that if you made some woman on a flight barf from your farts that you wouldn't tell your friends that story with pride?
Also, who's going to get up after someone humiliates them like that? Go to the bathroom. You know who you are. No one's going to be like, you know what?
Okay,
I'm going to use those those airplane restrooms. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, here.
Especially in a fucking Spirit flight. Oh, my God. I love that 2 weeks ago you were talking about like the mansion you were going to stay in, but you flew out there via Spirit.
Ladies and gentlemen, here
we gotta save money somehow, man. You gotta save money somehow.
Extremely enormous amount of C2 or what is it? C2O, CO2. What's the fucking CO2? Is that the fart? Yeah, we have too much CO2 in the cockpit. We are actually going down because it's a Spirit flight. We don't have the engine power to conduct enough this CO2 in here. Someone needs to stop farting immediately.
We've lost our life support functions.
Literally, the last picture in my mind of this Vegas trip was the lady just throwing up and be like, "You did this, just fucking yakking. You know who you are."
We've all stood up and been like, "It was me," and like everybody in the circle just stands up around her.
Yeah, just like a liar, liar. It was me.
No, or it was who's that guy who always stands up? I am Gladius, or who's the guy who stands up? What's the name
Gladiator?
of the guy? No, it's not Gladiator, but it's like, I'm Morpheus. It's not Morpheus. It's some. No, I am Gladia.
I know what you're talking about.
It's like an old ass movie. I don't fucking know the word. I'm so pissed. I don't know what it is. God damn it.
That's good Lord. I don't
know.
Great
question, Kyle. Great question.
I hope you're happy, Kyle. You dragged the fart story out of Mark, but we love your questions. And if anybody else has a question, Jason, I see you in the chat. You can leave us a voicemail at 847-920-6107. No one will answer. I promise. It doesn't go to Mark's cell phone, although I wish I could make that happen.
What's up, dude? I thought you never call. What's going on? That's how it usually goes.
Mark will personally answer every phone call that comes his way.
I do.
All right. Let's move on. I have something that I feel we need to plug.
Spartacus. What the fuck? How do we not know that one? I'm Spartacus.
No, I'm Spartacus.
Yes. I farted. No, I farted.
I am Farticus.
All right.
Okay. So our good friend Joe, who runs our D&D stream every Tuesday night at 7:30, at Pull the Lever DM on Instagram and at Leverpull on Twitter. He's excellent. If you want some of your friends to get a D&D session going, give him a call, hit him up on social media. He's the best in the biz, and he's got all of the Dwarven Forge sets to prove it. So he is embarking on a new endeavor, and that is the Second Star to the Right campaign that he will be streaming on Twitch. And we've got a nice little promo video here. I'm going to plug this real quick, and I will say I tried to upload it to StreamYard. The video is too large, so I'm just going to play it straight out of here, and you can see all my tabs open. I don't give a shit. So without further ado,
I thought this was very clever and well done.
It's very well done. Mm-hmm. So let's see.
Play it.
Extra, extra, read all about it. It's true, all of it. The island of Neverland has been found. The details are pouring in as we speak. The tales of the darling children don't come close to the real details of Neverland. The island is far wilder than we could have ever guessed. Bog bodies, denny dogs, and a crocodile big enough to topple a castle. How can this be possible? Sightings of pirates, mermaids, and children who can fly? Who are these lost souls? A group of brave adventurers will be setting out from the great city of London to embark on an expedition into the unknown jungles of Neverland. Who are these daring explorers, you ask? Dante McKnight, a studious wizard of wonder and illusion, Dante
Let's
is
go.
a dapper young gentleman who loves to wow audiences with his magic almost as much as his sense of style. New to the London scene, the cosmic crystal gazer Genevieve Sinclair. She's quickly gained relevance to those seeking a vision into their future. While good and bad have both been said of her, the true motives of this fortune teller are as cloudy as her crystal ball. No stranger to dangerous feats and adventurous expeditions, Helen Arden has made a name for herself as a dashing daredevil on the silver screen. The former crown jewel of Her Majesty's mystical menagerie has taken Hollywood by storm in the
Where
marvelous
did they get this film footage?
film production.
amazing.
The starry-eyed Shifra O'Grim hails from a small village in the mystic hills of Ireland. A natural explorer, she seeks to uncover the secrets of the universe. Known for her eccentric connection with the cosmos, she's starstruck for sure. And who's that shadow lurking around the corner? Talith Demero, a rapscallious rogue from Eberron. Talith is one with the wind as he soars through the skies on his captain's airship. But what sort of secrets lie behind his smiling eyes? Only time will tell. And finally, driving the narrative of this madcap adventure is Dungeon Master Joe Nuzzo. Well-versed in weaving tales of wonder, this veritable wizard of world-building will whisk away his players with wild abandon. Only one man knows what lies behind every tree in Neverland, but he'll never tell. You heard it here first, folks. Second Star to the Right is an all-new actual play Dungeons & Dragons show. You can tune in live beginning on April 2nd at 7 p.m. Central. Be sure to follow at Second Star Show on all social media platforms to get more updates about Neverland and the adventures that await.
That was
Huzzah!
amazing. That's this upcoming Friday, right?
Yes, 1 week from today at 7 p.m. Central Time, I should say, at twitch.tv/Second Star Show. So I am plugging this not only because it looks awesome, but also because I'm actually going to be producing this. So I'm going to set up the stream and handle the overlays and all that stuff. And I'm just really excited to be a part of this and watch them who are, these are like good players as opposed to our stream, which is idiots who forget what you need to add to every role. And they're excellent role players. I met up with some of them earlier tonight, and we did our tech test and all that stuff. I'm very excited to be a part of this.
That's awesome. And for everyone that listens to our podcast or looks at our social media crap, you know that we play D&D. And what I love about this is a great opportunity, even if you don't know anything about D&D, but you're kind of curious, but you're also like, I don't know if I can get into that. Check this out this weekend on Friday. Just check it out. This is a great opportunity to see what it's all about. And you have all these players that I'm sure are going to kill it.
They absolutely will. I will also say it's going to be edited into a podcast. So if you're not big on Twitch, we will have more information on that coming soon. It will be kind of like cut down, like if you're watching a D&D stream, sometimes there's some table talk and stuff like that. And it'll be trimmed down for more easy consumption, I should say. So
nice.
Keep your eyes peeled for that.
Stuff.
And
You're
definitely,
You're gonna edit that?
no, I am not editing that.
How long is it going to be?
I was gonna
Do
say
they know
that's
how long they're
a
going to go
hefty
for?
task. Hefty
We're
task.
aiming for 3 hours a stream, and Andrew will be the one cutting it down. Andrew, if you don't know, hosts the Roll for Persuasion podcast, which is also great. So check him out, Andrew Struther. He basically just, first of all, he works for Dwarven Forge, and his podcast is basically talking to people who are huge D&D nerds, and very cool guy. I played a one-shot with him not too long ago, him and Travis Frederick of the Dallas Cowboys. It was a very weird experience, but also a very good time. So
is this a one-night thing? Is it a one-shot or is it a whole campaign?
it's going to be a whole campaign.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be every other Friday. So every 2 weeks, Friday at 7 p.m.
Joe's going to have a lot on his plate. And I noticed this is now competition. So you know what? Screw this. Dude.
It's not competition. They're all so much better than we are.
Yeah, we're so
There's a reason. There's a reason why in the last portion of that video it says actual gameplay D&D, as opposed to our old stream, which is just drivel.
So it was like about time I got involved with something that actually matters.
Yeah, some actual D&D.
What are you gonna do?
We love you, Joe.
News to us. Boop.
Damn, let me turn the volume down on that. All right, boys, we got some trailers, and we're gonna talk about them.
Yeet.
Mark, you waited until we were all in the chat to start watching all of these trailers. So you probably have them freshest in your mind. The first trailer I want to talk about is called Made for Love. And this is coming to HBO Max, starring, I think, our group favorite at this point, Kristen Milioti. I don't know anyone who doesn't love her. She's great. She was in my favorite movie of last year, which was Palm Springs. And Mark, your boy Billy Magnuson, is a billionaire genius who runs
My guy.
Google, which I can't imagine what would that would be an allegory for. But he basically is developing this software, or this hardware and software, I guess, that you implant into your brain, and it makes you merge minds. So Kristen Milioti is his wife, and she finds out about this, and she hates him and tries to leave. But Billy Magnuson can see everything that she does. So I'm very excited for this TV show. And Ray Romano is in it as well. I don't know.
Where has he been?
He still does stand-up, and he's still really fucking funny.
He's a funny guy.
Dude, he's hilarious. Brick, I know you're a fan too.
Yes, I love Ray Romano. Everybody loves Raymond.
He has an excellent line in this trailer too. He's standing there with what looks like a sex doll, and he says, "Have you ever thought about just lowering your standards in terms of general happiness?" And that got deep.
Christina Milian seems to love to get herself in movies where she's like the trapped damsel in distress, more or less. Like for Palm Springs, she's trapped in a time loop. Black Mirror, she's trapped in a space simulation. This movie, she's trapped with a brain chip in her with, unbeknownst to her, a brain chip that like she's in the middle of the desert and escapes from like a hatch from like probably 2 football fields away from the house. She's just trapped constantly. But this gives me very much Black Mirror vibes.
I completely forgot that she was in one of my favorite episodes of Black Mirror, which is kind of fucked up, the USS Callister episode.
Matt Damon.
I didn't remember that. But she's great. I will watch her do literally anything. I'm glad to see that her career is taking off. Absolutely. It's coming to HBO Max. And some of the other trailers that we're going to get to, actually, let's just jump into the next one. Wait, first of all, anybody have anything else to say about this other than
No.
Look?
I feel like 3 of these 5 trailers we can get through real quick.
Perfect. So the Nevers is weirder and probably not going to be as good, or at least I'm not as excited for it, I should say. This is kind of if the X-Men were in the 1600s, I think.
Is this based off a novel? Probably.
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I would say, if I had to guess, I'd say yeah. But you got weird steampunk shit. You got some cults, some murders, a weird
magic powers,
bad tooth lady. Yeah, it's basically 1600s X-Men. So my question is, does HBO still save their best shows for like HBO Sunday night proper, or are they going to start moving their best stuff to HBO Max to get extra dough?
What's the difference?
I'm pretty sure that's not the case. I think they do have weekly releases with HBO Max as well. I'm pretty sure they're both the same thing now because I just merged my accounts. I get everything on HBO.
You get it the day it comes out, don't you? Like shows?
Yeah.
I guess what I mean is I don't think that Made for Love is going to air at a scheduled time on an HBO channel. Does that make sense?
Oh, on
streaming
like actual
April
TV
1st.
Xfinity people that use cable. Okay.
Right. So
yeah,
baby boomers who have HBO channels.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably not going to watch Made for Love, but they will have access to the Nevers. So my question is HBO saving their big name stuff, like, you know, obviously this was before HBO Max, but like Watchmen, are they saving that stuff for HBO proper still, or are they going to start just putting everything on HBO Max right away? Just a thought.
I think it's all HBO Max. I think streaming April 1st on HBO Max, I think that is only going to be, I don't think they're going to release the whole thing. I think they're not going to do the Netflix strategy there. I think they are going to stick to their Sunday new shows because they have literally a category in HBO Max that says new episodes this week. And it has like 7 shows that they have a lot of them are foreign and don't have they're all subtitles, so haven't been into them lately, but they've yeah, I mean they have a Sunday show, so I think that's the play. I think they're going to just release it weekly.
That's what I mean, though. Like Sunday nights on HBO has always been, here's us showing you our best shows. True Detective, it was Game of Thrones, it was Silicon Valley, whatever it was.
Veep, yep.
So if this is going to show up April 11th on HBO, like, are they counting on this to be better than what it looks like in the trailer? I will give them credit because they did cast Nick Frost, and I fucking love Nick Frost.
Love Nick Frost. He's fantastic.
I think it depends on what time slot it is, though, because isn't the primetime HBO spot like
9
Central? Is it 9 Central?
8 or 9, yeah.
Okay. But no, whatever has that first spot in the late evening, the next show is usually like, it's okay. Like I'm thinking of His Dark Materials, I think it was called. That was the show that was airing, I think, after Watchmen, which was pretty good, but obviously it wasn't like their main focus. Like everyone needs to watch the show right now.
I mean, it kind of was, because that's based on a very popular book series, the Golden Compass series. I didn't watch it. Like, that's not for me necessarily, but I still think that like Sunday night HBO is a prime slot.
Did they do that?
First season of True Detective, it's going to air Sunday nights on HBO.
Yeah.
Did they do weekly episodes for the Hugh Grant show, The Undoing?
Never saw it, couldn't tell you.
Yes.
I think that when they released The Flight Attendant, that it was all dropped at once. I could be wrong about that, but that's how I remember seeing it. And that was like a pretty big flagship series for HBO Max. So I guess we'll see. It's kind of a rhetorical question, because what really matters is like the future. HBO Max is still in its infancy, so we'll see. But
they're making some splashes, though. I like what they're doing with Made for Love. I like what they're doing for this. When you explained it like it was a 1600s X-Men, super sold for that period piece. And they have good content on there already. The Undoing's already great. They merged with Comedy Central. It seems like they have South Park stuff. They got Reno 911, all the seasons for Reno 911.
So Viacom owns Comedy Central, VH1, MTV, and HBO. So they're all under the same umbrella,
which is sweet. And then they got all the DC content, which is, I mean, whatever. But
Viacom's owned by Warner Brothers.
Okay.
So like, there's like 3 companies left in the entire world.
Sweet.
It's like Disney, Warner Brothers, and like, I don't know, Walmart and Amazon, I guess.
Amazon.
All right. Mark, you seemed really excited to talk about In the Earth. So I'm just going to let you go off on this while I go refill my wine.
This looks so stupid. I couldn't even tell you who is starring in this movie. It kind of reminded me of, so it's a horror flick, and it's by Neon Production Company. Neon has done, some well-known horror movies. I can't name them, but I know they have. It gave me like The Happening vibes with Mark Wahlberg, and there was just all of this text saying how it's like the 2021 horror movie of the year kind of thing, and it just didn't do it for me. I don't know. What do you think, Brick?
The string quartets, they have like this wild element that kind of does bring up a Midsummer type vibe and feel.
Yeah.
Not as like, I guess it's not as like contrarian to what a horror movie would be. Like Midsummer was always like in the light and it was like weird. This is like dark wilderness, gives you foggy vibes. But they have this like tree lady, folk lady that's supposed to be like this woman of the earth that doesn't seem too scary, in my opinion. It could be creepy and eerie. It seems like they have some very graphic imagery that they showed in the trailer. Which
I couldn't tell if this was like, I couldn't tell if this was people getting possessed by, this spirit in the wilderness, or if this was actually like a witch or something that was, haunting all these people that would come camp out or do whatever.
Yeah. And then it also, they like have the campers more or less turning on each other, or they have imagery suggesting so. They had just very fucked up imagery that I think is good for a horror story or a horror movie. And then the score that they had with the soundtrack was creepy, kind of. They had like the string quartet thing. It was just little. It was like your basic horror, in my opinion.
If you're into horror movies, check this trailer out in the Earth. Let us know what you think.
The imagery looked fucked up, so that's giving me some solace that this could be like, ooh, that's fucking just like super off-putting horror movie.
It rained upwards. You're telling me that's not unsettling to you? That's like, what was I can't remember the name of the movie. It came out on Netflix not that long ago, where the dog like shakes and keeps shaking, and it was just like an upsetting image. I don't know why, but stuff like that always weirds me out. Brick, did you play Witcher 3?
Yeah. Not all the way through though.
Like the monster in the woods who's basically made of like woods and has big antlers and shit. That's what I think of when I see this. So, and it's getting decent reviews so far from the websites that have reviewed it. I struggle with some of the horror websites because a lot of those horror websites look at something and are just like, oh, there's gore everywhere. It's fucking good. But I think this has potential.
Do you think this should be a bit better than Midsommar?
I think Midsommar is a dog shit garbage movie. So yes.
Why do you think it's bad, Smithers?
It was 3.5 hours long. It dragged on a lot. The characters were bad, except for the guy from The Good Place. He was good. The graphic nature of the murders at the end was kind of cool, but other than that, it just was stupid.
It was fucking graphic. The guy was still alive when he had all his organs pulled out. That was fucked up.
His lungs were outside of his body and like inflating and stuff. Spoilers.
Yeah, anyway. Go to our other episode of Midsommar if you want to hear the rest of Smithers' absolute ripping apart of this movie.
So I guess Possessor was in Neon film. So I'm a little bit more excited. I love Possessor.
They did Possessor. They did Colossal with Anne Hathaway. They do a lot of weird movies like this.
They did Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and supposedly, I mean, within the cinephile community, that's like one of the biggest movies that came out last year. I think it was last year.
I feel like Neon is kind of like Blumhouse, and that they do all these super low budget movies, and they do a bunch of them, and they hope that one of them sticks and makes a shitload of money. So, Thank you for covering that for me. I needed wine.
Yep.
On to something that you were much more excited about. I think you loved this trailer. Stowaway, coming to Netflix on April 22nd. Anna Kendrick and Toni Collette, and I don't know any of the actors' names other than them, but basically there's a space launch that is going to Mars, and these people are going to go and try to prove that they can terraform and grow plants there. But one of the engineers who was working on the launch pad gets knocked out, and he's out cold long enough to miss the launch, which I think would probably kill him if he was stuck.
He took a bunch of Xanax, and he just fell asleep.
Boy, that talk about anxiety.
Wait, did we take off? Fuck, I need to get off.
So he's asleep for 12 hours, knocked out for 12 hours. Wake up, you're already in space. And now they have to decide basically whether they're going to turn back or one of them is going to die because he damages their life support, meaning that they don't have enough oxygen for 4 people, only enough for 3. Oh, Daniel Dae Kim's in this. What am I talking about? He's the amazing like botanist guy. I love Daniel Dae Kim, so he's good. I don't know. This looks okay.
It looks
like they're going to murder each other.
Yeah, no, it looks like fun survival. I feel like they're all going to make it out alive anyway. This feels like this feels like that George Clooney movie that came out on Christmas for Netflix, where he's got that little girl who stayed back and has to go find the satellite to like save all of Earth's populations or something like that. I feel like it gives me the same vibe. Yeah, there's space involved, but it's just going to be not as intense as you want it to be.
Did you really feel like this was going to take a dark turn like that, where they were going to be like, we got to kill somebody? I felt like it's going to be like a believe in humanity type story where they're going to be like, all right, we need to figure out a way. More plants emit oxygen. The oxygen's going to keep us alive. The plants will keep us alive.
Now, what are you doing?
I don't know. I'm just I'm thinking of like a Netflix grade actor, which I could be instantly.
Anna Kendrick, Toni Collette, and Daniel Dae Kim, and you're that's your impression.
Yeah, I think The Rock is in the new.
Who's
Netflix
Toni
movie.
Collette?
Like they had like a banger cast with that. they released that like hype up movie with all.
I wasn't referencing the actors. I was more referencing the storyline. I just think it's going to end up being stupid, where it's like, oh, you
kill each other.
Yeah.
Let's shit in a box and make more flowers. Then we'll. Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
This is going to be like The Martian with Matt Damon,
Which wasn't that good.
Well, I liked it.
I liked The Martian. What are you talking about? That was funny.
But you also knew like nobody was ever really in danger. Everybody was always going to survive, especially Matt Damon. You're never going to kill Matt Damon.
Yeah, you can't kill him. It's like Tom Cruise.
They killed him in the Avengers. Fake killed him. He's like,
he's coming back for the next one.
I know, he's a new Thor.
I think that this is important to talk about because we were talking about how Netflix is doing like a movie a week for the rest of the year. And if they're all going to be like this, then maybe that's not so impressive, but I'm still here for it. I'll watch this.
Dude, give us more of that animation show. That's like the little short films. What is that show? I love that.
Robot.
Death, Robots. Love, Death, and Robots.
Yes, give us more of that shit.
They are still working on the second season for that. I don't know when they're going to release it. I haven't seen anything about it, but
I'm almost happy they're not rushing it because each one they had some really unique and really good stories, and they have all individual artistic styles, and they have all individual stories, and they're quick. I loved it.
I think that it's so great when a TV show will just do vignettes instead of an ongoing story, like a serialized story. I don't know why. I just enjoy that so much. It's so much easier to digest. You don't have to remember everything that's happened. You don't have to binge watch it.
No acid reflux.
There you go.
Easier to digest.
Mark, I know I let you kick off the last one, but Suicide Squad, I feel as though you are the one who needs to take the lead on this. What do you got?
Nothing.
King Shark, baby. King Shark. That's all I gotta say.
Last
And when King Shark showed up, I'm just like, wow, that CGI is pretty bad. But I don't know what I expected from a shark.
It's not finished.
That stands upright.
I guarantee 100% it will look better when it makes it to the big screen.
I think it will too.
I guess I should say.
He's the Groot in the James Gunn in the James Gunn equation. There, they have like a very
Weasel is because that's Sean Gunn, his brother.
So that
really?
Explain to me.
In the trailer, Weasel is like licking the glass when he's in the prison with Pete Davidson and Michael Rooker. That's Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother, who's in like Michael Rooker and Sean Gunn are in every James Gunn movie.
Doesn't he always play like the one-off creature character voice?
Yes.
From like Guardians and stuff.
Sean Gunn did get an actual like part in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. He was one of like the Ravagers. Mm-hmm. So he does get work. It's just usually weird shit like this. And he does like the body double stuff for Rocket Raccoon. There's a picture of him in a full green screen suit sitting next to Dave Bautista. And Dave Bautista's like rubbing his head because he's Rocket Raccoon. So
amazing. I know you're talking about. Yeah. So I guess
if there's a big time director like that, you've got the life because you can just step into his movies and be like, yeah, I'll be your body double.
Yeah. What's the guy's name? Shark King?
King Shark.
King Shark. Okay.
So the body of King Shark is played by Steve Agee, and the voice is Sylvester Stallone.
Really?
Yeah.
So he's literally Groot, but they also have like he's like the Drax and Groot combined into one character because he's like
definitely going to be the
comedic relief. He's dumb, but he's going to have simple lines like Groot. But there's like a simple James Gunn formula, and it's worked so far, and I am here for it. Who's doing the Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
James Gunn.
Okay.
James Gunn one.
I have James Gunn to do pretty much anything, so I'll see this. No questions asked.
I looked at both the trailers from 2016 and the one from today, and I feel like even though they have that dumb DC grayscale, you can kind of tell in the original DC film. Well, they're both the original DCs, but like this new one, they have more colors popping. It's more fun. It's lighthearted. I feel like it's going to be much better than the fucking last one, which is a hard thing to accomplish, honestly.
You're getting some recurring characters. Jai Courtney is coming back as Boomerang. Is that his name? Am I making that up? I don't know. Joel Kinnaman is back as Rick Flag, or the Jack Flag. Rick Flag. Jack Flag.
Rick Flag.
I can never keep that straight.
I like how they left. I looked at the difference that they had from Joel Kinnaman's role in the first trailer to Joel Kinnaman's role now. He is more of one of the Suicide Squad. The first time he was like that commander that like they butted heads with a lot. I'm sure they'll still butt heads in this one, but he's like goofier in a way where he's like kind of more or less going along with all these fucking idiots.
Did you guys notice that it looks like they have two separate teams? Like one is led by Idris Elba and the other is led by Michael Rooker. So I'm wondering if they're gonna like clash at some point in the end, and that'll be the big crescendo of the movie. Also, what the fuck was that monster that they showed, Mark?
Did that have to do with? Was that the Thinker? That like I don't know. Thinker is the guy with the shit that was coming out of his head.
That's Peter Capaldi. He was Doctor Who for a while. Yeah, that's the Thinker. You've got David Dastmalchian, you got John Cena, Pete Davidson. This is a ridiculous cast, and they make jokes about a beach full of dicks that John Cena would suck if it meant peace and liberty. I'm fully in on this.
Okay, so the chat right now is blowing up saying it was Starro. Starro, I guess, is the main villain that we're getting in this movie, and Starro first appeared in the Golden Age comics. In it was Brave and the Bold. Yeah, so
wait,
old character.
Starfish?
Yeah. That's the villain, Starro.
All right. That's
you can't act like you're surprised with Suicide Squad. You got so many random characters. Peacemaker though. See, I was just gonna say John Cena is Peacemaker. I think that's gonna be a great fit for him. And I love, dude, he's so jacked. Like, there's interviews where he's like, yeah, I've never taken steroids. Dude, you have varicose veins on your fucking popping out of your arm right now. Like, we get it. Just relax. All right. You're just huge. Yeah.
If I was acting in Hollywood, I would 1,000,000% be taking steroids.
You have to. You have like 3 months to get fit for a role. But whatever.
There's no way.
Yeah, John Cena is perfect for this role as Peacemaker. Love it.
I can't wait for his TV show. That's the spinoff of basically of this. I think it's going to be great, and he's just hilarious. He has perfect comedic timing. He's so great. He needs more work in Hollywood. Just blown away that a giant starfish is going to be the main villain of this fucking movie.
Who do you think is going to be the first one to die? You think they're going to kill Pete Davidson?
Either him or Polka Dot Man, aka David Dastmalchian. I feel like they're just going to pick like one of the random guys. Like I can't see Pete Davidson showing up for like the Suicide Squad 2.
Weasel's going to make it all the way through.
Weasel's going to be the unspoken hero.
Yeah.
Do we think that Suicide Squad is going to mix with this Injustice Squad that we got at the end of the Snyder Cut?
No,
there isn't going to be an Injustice Squad. None. The Snyderverse is dead.
You think?
Yes,
they're making it in black and white. It's got to go somewhere from there.
There were a million people on Twitter this past day that said, "Restore the Snyder Cut" or whatever the fuck they were hashtagging now.
Yeah, don't tell me the Snyder Cut's dead because it was been revived from the dead months ago, years ago. People have been clamoring, and now they're like, "Oh, let's do it anyway. Fuck it."
You can't use Twitter and be like, all the tweets are saying.
It worked like, last time.
It's all Russian bots and shit.
It worked last time.
They did spend $70 million to re-release this piece of shit, but
they didn't really. Yeah, but it happened. So Twitter did get them back. Okay.
Okay, and then we'll move on to We'll Talk Snyder Cut. All right, Mark, this is very shocking. Keanu Reeves is going to produce and star in a BRZRKR live-action movie and anime follow-up for Netflix. You, I think 2 weeks ago, were talking about the comic in your recommendations.
Yeah,
give me
not surprising.
What's happening?
Do you want to know the background of the story, or what are you asking?
From what you told me, it was basically just like a guy who's lived forever who is murdering everyone in super gory ways.
Yeah, this guy works for the government and he's immortal. So they use him as, a tool to just assassinate whoever and just run through a bunch of people. It's a really gory comic book. Like, he just crushes skulls in it. But there's a really nice ending to the first issue, like a nice little turn they put in. So it keeps you engaged. I'm more excited for the anime or animation or whatever we're getting with
they are calling it an anime, and Keanu will lend his voice to the anime. So
yeah, that could be really cool.
You can do some real weird shit with animation.
What if Keanu Reeves isn't live acting as himself in BRZRKR?
It said he was going to, but that shit changes. Maybe we'll see.
I didn't know that was confirmed. I would assume it was, obviously, but yeah, it should be good. Is this the first time we've ever like simultaneously had an announcement where a company was like, okay, we're doing this series, but we're also going to have a movie that's completely different? One's going to be animation, one's going to be live action.
The only other one I can think of is the Matrix and the Animatrix with the sequels. But that was obviously, they did the Matrix first and it was a huge hit. So maybe that's different. Like for this to come out and be like, yeah, we're going to do both immediately. They did the same thing with Altered Carbon, where they did an Altered Carbon anime. I don't know. We'll see. Let's keep moving because we're running a little long. Disney has fully caved into nerd pressure, and they're going to release Black Widow on Disney Plus Premiere. So it'll be $30 on July 9th.
Nerd pressure's real.
28th. What's up?
Nerd pressure's real. That's why the Snyder Cut 2 is going to come.
It is. And also I like to think that these multi-billion-dollar corporations have much better information as to how the virus is trending. So it tells me that maybe they're not so optimistic.
That's true. Okay.
Fair.
Or like once Captain America, once Falcon and Winter Soldier released, I went back and watched Captain America's, and I'm just like, I really want to see this Black Widow movie. Even it's a prequel, so it's not like the biggest deal, but it's just something I'm actually thrilled to start watching because I liked the relationship and I want to see her origin story. Plus, I hope that they bring in Hopper to a later Avengers type movie. That'd be freaking dope.
Definitely need more David Harbour. Definitely need more Florence Pugh. The only thing about this is that like
it's a prequel, so they're probably all dead anyway.
Well, Scarlett Johansson, like Black Widow's never going to be in any real danger because you already know how she dies if you've seen the rest of the movies.
Exactly.
So,
but they always have good fight choreography, and I would love to see. It's more or less the stakes of the other people, her surrounding family, if they have the possibility to bring them into the fold here.
And in a superhero movie, I think that the villain is one of the most important pieces, and I love Taskmaster as a villain. So I'm very excited to see that on the big screen. So
Taskmaster, this is not the Spider-Man Taskmaster, right?
It is.
They're intertwining those worlds.
He is a Marvel character.
Right.
Basically, his power is he can watch you and replicate your full fighting style.
Exactly. That's why you have to beat him. When you play in the Spider-Man game, you can't do the same moves over and over again. You have to use your whole web arsenal, which is pretty sick.
Yeah. So Jason's in the chat and he's talking about how he'll probably watch it at home. His wife is vaccinated. He's not. That's a good point. And they are releasing it also simultaneously in theaters. I am probably going to be in the same boat where I doubt I'll be able to get a vaccine by then. So I'm very excited they're going to release this and Cruella on Disney Premiere Plus.
When's the release? July, beginning of July?
I have it here somewhere. July
9th.
There you go.
I think we're going to be able to get our vaccine real close to that.
I hope so. I'm hopeful, but we'll see.
I have a little bit of a different opinion. Yes, maybe they have some prediction about COVID and how it's going to trend. But at the same time,
know better than a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So let's hear it.
But at the same time, like they're going to still want to push Disney Plus. They don't release numbers for, let's say, Raya the Last Dragon, how much they brought in $30 wise per watch or per, subscription that bought that movie. Do they release those numbers? Maybe they were super successful where they're like, we're missing out big if we're not doing this.
Absolutely talk about those numbers.
On their earnings call, you said? Okay.
Any shareholders call.
Okay. Well, I'm curious for their next earnings call when they do talk about those numbers, how they did, because I think there's not a lot of people that pirate. We might think there are, but I think a lot of people are just too lazy and they're like, I have this amazing fucking TV. I already have the streaming app. I just want to be able to sit on my couch, click a button, and boom, it's there to watch. Like I don't want to have to worry about fucking looking for it online and doing all that bullshit. So I think they did have success, even though it seems ridiculous. A $30 movie on a subscription you're already paying $10 a month for or whatever. But who knows?
I actually 100% agree with you. And if you say you were going to take your significant other, you're already going to spend $30 at the movie theater. You might as well stay home, get drunk, don't have to worry about an Uber, don't have to buy expensive popcorn and sodas and shit.
And think about all the people that don't really go to movies, maybe once in a while, the people that go once every couple months. And now that they have access to this at home, they're like, fuck yeah, I'll spend $30 and I'll instantly watch this. When realistically, if we didn't have what's going on in the world right now, maybe they would wait months until Black Widow came out on Blu-ray or whatever. And now they're able to watch it at home and don't have to worry about making a whole thing about going out and going to the theater and things like that. So
yeah, let's be honest. They wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't really viable.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they didn't make they probably just didn't make as much money in the theaters as they thought they would. And they are probably making more money through the streaming service itself in these times because people are not vaccinated. People are not thinking of going to the movies as the first priority of things to do. So
people were never thinking about going to the movies as a first priority. That's the thing. That was my whole point. It's like you're allowing people now that wouldn't even have gone to the theater, years ago, to just be like, all right, I have enough interest. I'm bored right now, stuck at home, to buy this movie for $30. Boom, I'm going to do it.
Comics, I bet you they could. If you ask, you can probably rent a theater for a dollar amount.
So theater and streaming it on his HBO Max app. That's a brilliant idea, actually. And you can spend like $100 right now and rent an entire movie theater. I was talking to Joe about doing this. We were talking about just like playing video games or some dumb shit. So 100%. All right, let's keep going because we're running long. Mark, one of your favorite DC characters is Dr. Fate, and it has been announced that Pierce Brosnan is going to play him on the big screen in Shazam 2. How do you feel about that?
I had mixed feelings at first, but the more I think about it, the more I kind of like it. I don't know. When Boss Logic is one of the best,
the best
digital rendering. Whenever there's an announcement for a character that's going to play a new superhero or an actor that's going to play a new superhero, he's the first one on the internet to post it out there on Instagram what it might look like. And he posted one of Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, and I'm kind of sold now.
Boss Logic is the best. Nobody does it better than him. Even the movie studios don't do it better than him. I'm very excited to see Dr. Fate on the big screen. Pierce Brosnan, I don't have any feelings towards him one way or the other. The picture that the website that I frequent, IO9, used to show him as like, hey, this guy's been cast as Dr. Fate. He basically looks like Colonel Sanders from KFC. So that's actually kind of a good look for Dr. Fate. And when we were discussing it in our Discord, Elise, who's in the chat, was talking about how if they do it right, you're not really going to see much of his face anyways, because he'll be covered by a helmet. So I'm good with this. He can act. We all know that. He's been James Bond. He's been in actual good movies that weren't James Bond. I'm here for this. The other news was Helen Mirren is going to play one of the villains in Shazam 2 as well. So it seems like there's going to be myriad villains in that movie, and it'll probably be like, what is it? The different gods that are facing off against Shazam.
But they did that already. They did that in Shazam. Have there been 2 already? Wait, there's been 1 or 2.
One.
One.
And one
Okay.
Shazam. So they're going to
there was
do
2.
Shazam 2, which is going to come before Black Adam.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Great.
We didn't really get a human representation of the gods the last time. They were just monsters in monster form. So
We got a little bit of that in the Snyder Cut, though.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And also, aren't they still planning on doing a New Gods type thing? I think that they are.
I don't know. That's yet to be seen.
All right, last bit of news. Brick, did you ever play Ghosts of Tsushima?
I did not.
I've heard it's excellent. I haven't played it yet either. I will get to it. Sony's developing a movie adaptation. The John Wick franchise director Chad Stahelski, who is an ex-stuntman, is going to be doing the directing on this. So it will be a brilliant slash 'em up fucking action thriller, and I'm here for it.
Okay. That's not the one with Daryl from The Walking Dead, right?
No, that's Death Stranding.
Death Stranding. That game seemed like a fucking grind. Like
Yeah,
the
I'm not sure
slowest burn of all time. Yeah, Ghost of. I don't really know too much about Ghost of
Tsushima. Is a samurai who is the last of his clan, and he's out for revenge or something. So I'm 100% in for anything that Chad Stahelski directs. I think he's brilliant and needs more work. So yeah, I'm here for that.
Open world game. Yeah, is this PS5 only, or they probably came out with both? Didn't they?
It's a PlayStation exclusive, but it came out like 6 months ago.
Okay.
I heard this game was amazing. Are you not familiar with this game, Brick?
No, I know it's a PlayStation exclusive. That's why I'm not as familiar with it, because I don't have a PlayStation. You finished that Spider-Man Miles Morales one, right?
Yeah, pretty much immediately.
Worth buying a PlayStation over? It didn't seem like that. Okay.
It's too short, and I had some issues with, but we won't spoil that. Let's just move on.
Best.
We the best!
Worst.
The worst! She's the worst person in the world. Huge, skank, terrible, but thank you.
Gentlemen, if you don't mind, I want to kick this off with a best woman who is no longer alive, unfortunately. Brick, I know you felt this pain too. Jessica Walter passed away yesterday at the age of 80. Best known as Lucille Bluth, I believe. Also Mallory Archer. She's been the voice of tons of things. She was Fran Sinclair in Dinosaurs. She was the mom. She provided the voice for that. Her portrayal of Lucille Bluth is one of my all-time favorites in any sitcom of all time. She is her dry delivery and her just utter bitchiness. Like, we lost a real gem, and I'm so upset about this. I was very downtrodden. Just a brilliant actress, and you will be very missed. And I hope she knows how much we all appreciated her.
Yes, and if you go back, and Lucille slowly became my favorite character in Arrested Development because of how some of her one-liners and all of her jokes and her delivery, her dry delivery was always spot on and perfect. If you go back and listen to her delivery and some of the lines in Arrested Development, early seasons 1 and 2, and even 3, she is some of the best quick one-liners. It's fantastic. She's the best.
I can't say enough about how great how much laughter she has brought me between this and Archer. It's just, she will be greatly missed. She's been an actress since 1964. She's been in tons of stuff. So, rest in peace. We'll miss you, Walter.
In her honor, I think we need to get a Lucille Bluth drop into our regular Chumpcast.
Okay. How about when Mark is talking about one of his extravagant vacations and in the mansion that he's going to stay in, we do the drop that's like, how much could a banana cost? $10?
Could a banana cost $10? I love it.
Okay,
but also I want to open it up to maybe a vote to Twitter or something like that. I want to hear the best, tag your best Lucille Bluth quotes, and I would love to get a drop in our forever stream.
Probably in the chat. When she's talking to Anyang, I think she says like, "Here's $10. Go see a Star War." Fucking brilliant.
Go see a Star Wars.
It's all right.
There's so many lines that are actual brilliantly gold. We'll look into it, and we'll have one ready for next week.
I'm making myself sad just thinking about her. Mark, who's your best person alive?
My worst auto shop alive is the OK Walker Luxury Auto Works in Peachtree City, Georgia. So this auto shop was a little bitter about one of its auto mechanics quitting and decided to finally pay this person their last check in pennies. It's a $915 check. So they paid this guy in 91,500 pennies. And not only did they do that, but they oiled up the pennies, I would assume, with like motor oil or something. My question to you, Smithers, is would this piss you off or would this turn you on? If your pennies were just doused in motor oil.
Would it turn me on? Well, I assume they just sprayed it down with like WD-40 or something like that. But that's an asshole move. Like, why were they so upset with this guy? Is this a prank or is it like a fuck you?
It's a Kramer.
It's definitely a fuck you. Supposedly, they refused to comment, but they did comment. Supposedly, the owner of the auto shop said that the guy was nonstop asking for his check when he quit and was like getting on his nerves. So they decided to do this, but he won't admit to dumping.
Live is the shop manager because
hold
on,
I have a quote from him that I just couldn't get over. Okay, Mr. Flatten. All right, Miles Walker. It's Miles Walker, the owner of the repair shop, did not respond to requests to comment. He told CBS 46 that he couldn't remember whether he dropped the pennies on his former employee's driveway. He couldn't remember. Yeah, dude. Instead of just no, I didn't do it. I can't remember if I did. And then he went on to say, it doesn't matter. He got paid. That's all that matters. Fuck you, dude.
Fuck
bitter ass motherfucker.
Seriously. He's probably like, hey, I found a better job. I'm gonna go take it. I'm going through this right now.
What a turd nugget.
I put in my notice for my job, and my CFO is being so passive aggressive. Like, not like anytime that my boss, who is like, it's like CFO, my boss, me. Anytime my boss emails him like and copies me on it, he won't respond with words. He'll just take like a snapshot of what he needs and send it. Like, he hasn't said a word to me. It's so fucking petty. Like, if somebody's going to get a better job, let it go. It's because you should have taken better care of them in the first place.
Yeah.
Sounds personal.
A little bit. Brick, who's your best man?
That first thing that reminded me of Kramer paying for the calzones with pennies in Seinfeld, classic Seinfeld reference. Had to bring it up. He also does not get the calzones because he pays in pennies. Therefore, you cannot accept payment for pennies. The guy who paid is wrong. That's a fact. Seinfeld rules. I threw in a link for you to show up here. The cargo ship drew a penis and a butt before getting stuck in the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal actually is a level in Battlefield 1. Thought I'd throw that out there. That's actually where a lot of dysentery. Yeah, it's in the Middle East where they had a lot of like what's his face? Winston Churchill had terrorists. Like the worst idea ever to raid the Suez Canal, and literally got all of his troops to have dysentery, and they got fucked.
Just so, Austin Powered, where he was trying to back out with the warship and he just couldn't do it. He's stuck in the canal. So
they got stuck in the Suez Canal, and the the fucking guy who. The captain of the ship,
the fucking guy
was driving around, and apparently the satellites tracked their movement, and they just made a butt with a dick about to be put into a dick and butt, basically.
Isn't it just a 3-point turn though?
Not for this guy. This guy literally there's like conspiracies about it that this guy did it on purpose, which is like ridiculous.
Does that just show they had to go all the way around Africa
So
or
if you
whatever
can't
that
make
was?
it to the Suez Canal, you basically have to go south of the entire continent of Africa,
Jesus.
which a lot of the ships are doing right now because it's been stuck there for that long.
Oh my God.
This guy,
That's faster to go around Africa than through the Suez Canal. I'm saying
You gotta go back.
I'm saying that Suez Canal wrong every time. By the way, there's no question about it.
That ship was dummy thick, says comics misexplained. Yes, that
I don't
is
even
a
know what else
thick-
to say about this. Like
a
that
thick
is
ship.
the worst day, like the worst day that you've ever had at work. This is a billion times that.
That water
Yeah.
looks super shallow. Like there should be a guy in the canal waving a flag, just like, no, stop, motherfucker, stop.
I'm coming. Sorry,
What? No, not.
That's
All right,
fine.
maybe
I'm coming
the
to.
dick reference. All right, I get it.
I have one other. All right, there's Brick. I just have a Florida woman story. Then I promise we can move on to the Snyder Cut. A woman rescued from a storm drain in Florida says she was lost for 3 weeks in tunnels and survived on a single can of ginger ale while she was underground. She was discovered by a woman who heard her screams while driving by the drain. So this 43-year-old woman, they're not
This is
naming
haunting.
She's very distraught, but apparently she was out for a swim in a canal and saw like a doorway. So she swam through the doorway and got lost. She claims that she was underground for 3 fucking weeks. I think there's no way that that's possible, especially to say that you survived off a single can. So she says that she found a single unopened can of ginger ale in the sewers, which I still probably wouldn't drink. But she was rescued, and police think that she was only down there for 2 or 3 days. And I'm guessing that somehow we're going to end up finding out that there was meth involved.
2 or 3 weeks
Because Florida.
and a ginger ale can. That was her only food or beverage that she inhaled in that 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, so 2 or 3 minutes is how much I inhale a fucking ginger ale can. There's no way you're rationing that shit out for 3 weeks and surviving. 3 days max.
This is a
100% max.
quintessential Florida story, and it needed to be told. But let's move on.
You know who you are. You know who you are. Go to the bathroom now.
How great is that story, though?
the Vegas fart. Okay, peace.
That's so terrible.
It's
It
Notorious
should
Vegas fart.
forever be referred to as the Vegas fart.
This is like 100. This is what happens on Spirit flights, though. Did you see that story of the guy that just came out of the bathroom on Spirit this week, shirtless, and he tried opening the hatch, like tried opening the door?
Was it Aquaman who just like was going into the ocean who decided to take his shirt off for no apparent reason?
It's funny you say that because this guy was extremely tatted up. He kind of looked like Aquaman, except he was like 140 pounds soaking wet.
You don't say. This guy who came out of a Spirit Airlines bathroom shirtless was extremely tatted up. You don't fucking say.
It was on the Vegas fart plane, actually.
All right. Our review this week, begrudgingly,
You're
was the
stereotyping Spirit flight people. Come on.
Yes. Spirit,
2021.
Frontier, JetBlue, all of them.
Frontier.
All of them the same. All right.
Great discount.
Snyder Cut. Shut up.
You got to deal with just psychos that are going to fart.
You want oxygen on this plane? That'll be $200 extra.
Exactly. You want to bring that down, that mask that gives you actual oxygen? Yeah. $200.
All right. The Snyder Cut. Currently at 73% on Rotten Tomatoes, 95% from fans, which is the most fucking absurd thing I've ever heard.
should be.
Is it a popcorn
As it
flick?
should
No, it's not a popcorn flick. It's just a good flick.
So I'm guessing that what's happening here is the same thing that was happening when the Whedon cut came out in 2017, where they review bombed it negatively. And now they're doing the thing where they just like review bomb it positively because they finally got what they wanted.
Who's they?
If you check like IMDb, it's around like 55% ish. I don't know. Somewhere in between all of those is the truth. It's like to me, it's like a 6.5 out of 10. But
Rotten Tomatoes is at 73.
What does?
Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, so that's the critic score. Well, that just means that somebody else added a critic score since I wrote this down. But
Okay. And then, yeah, Google users 95 like this movie. The Google users are the truth.
that's fucking insane. Anyway, this was obviously directed by Zack Snyder. Basically, he took his old footage, did a bunch of reshoots, and added $70 million worth of visual effects and re-edits and shit. This is vastly better than the movie that we got in 2017, but it's still not great. It is 60% slow motion and a lot of stories that probably don't need to be told. And I don't know. Mark, why don't you just go off?
The slow motion bothered me. It's supposedly, according to Screen Rant, they actually did the calculation. It's 10% slow motion. And you tell that to somebody that loves the movie and they're just like, I know it was. But they don't care. That's what Snyder does. He does slow-mo shit. And I guess people love it.
The only thing that matters, Brick, what did you think about how the Flash runs?
Terrible. We knew that in the first cut, though.
I didn't notice his bad form.
What?
Let me go.
You're supposed to be the guy who notices this shit.
Yeah, no, it seemed to pass my.
No, he's like.
Yeah, let me see. Say it again. Let me see it.
Yeah, his running is weak as hell, boy. His running looked like two cans of bounce that ass.
I think the slow mo may have fucked it up, made it look bad. I don't know. That's not too bad.
Nobody runs like this.
Well, if you're the
He was
Flash,
the worst part of this movie, and it wasn't fucking close. I never want to see Ezra Miller again. He sucked.
Was the opposite of that. I thought he had some decent, good comic relief. And for the record, in my notes, here's what I have.
It's because you got a little emotional about that last scene. The last scene with him where he basically alters time and like goes back and prevents.
Hang on. I want to throw this out there.
Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah. So we are obviously going to spoil this. It's basically going to be entirely spoilers. So I want to throw this out there right now. I will mark it in the show notes. I will throw up a little banner at the bottom for anybody who's watching us live who has not seen this. We are going to spoil the shit out of this because that's basically the only thing that we have left to talk about. We did a review of the original Joss Whedon Justice League in the first place.
What's his first name? Joss? Joss?
Joss. The worst.
Joss Whedon.
Okay.
It's only 4 hours long. You people should have already seen it by now. Let's be serious.
It took me until today to finish this movie. It came out last Thursday. I watched it in 5 parts, and that's because I fell asleep 3 times because it's boring, and most of it's in slow motion. This movie was not good.
Okay. I wouldn't say it was not good.
I wouldn't say
a
it was
little worked
not
up.
good either. Yeah.
I mean,
there's no question that he was going to say that in the beginning forever. That's a fact. It was a full bias. There's no way you're changing Smithers' mind that this is going to be even a watchable movie by any means. Just saying.
It's watchable, but it's not good.
Okay. So this is what I had in my notes was everything was bad to start out. And then I was like, I did enjoy the Flash's intro scene. I don't know what Ezra did in real life, though. So there's that.
Flash.
You just love that he grabbed a wiener.
He did grab a wiener.
So what happened with him in real life? I don't know, which is why I liked his parts, I think.
See, here's the thing. You have going into this, well, technically not going into this, going into the Snyder Cut, you have a background for every other character here except for the Flash. Because in this movie, they give you the background for Cyborg.
Yeah.
The Flash, they're just like, hey, this guy runs fast.
Isn't that? But I thought they were going to do Flashpoint. I thought that was the point of it all. They were going to give him they were going to give his origin story in the Flashpoint movie.
They've been talking about it forever. I don't know that movie ever is going to get made, especially ever since Ezra Miller beat up that girl in Reykjavik, Iceland. I don't really know how you bring him back and you're like, here's the centerpiece to our movie.
That's what it did. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm not really sure what's going to happen with that, but they give you zero background for him at all.
Right.
And he is one of 2 Deus Ex Machinas at the end of this movie. And again, I want to say that we're going full spoilers on this. So I assume if you're watching or listening to this, you've seen it. He does this thing where he's like, okay, Barry, you got to break all your rules, but he doesn't tell you what the rules are. And if you haven't read the comics or watched the you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I don't know. I never read those, and I thought it was pretty clear that he's just going to go back in time.
So there are zero consequences for it. So he breaks.
That we know of.
Don't you think that matters? In
the Snyder Cut too.
Wait until the next Snyder Cut, Smithers. God.
And they left it super open ended with all the cryptic end shit. The post-apocalyptic, Mark.
Yes.
Post-apocalyptic.
I feel as though I should just leave and let you guys talk about this.
I don't think we need to talk about it that much. I mainly just wanted to do this to spite you. You know, I know you didn't think this was going to happen, and you were wrong about that.
Nobody thought it was going to happen for a long time, other than the fucking Twitter trolls that were like, oh, release the Snyder Cut. First of all, there was no Snyder Cut. They spent $70 million on reshoots and re-editing for the visual effects. There was not a Snyder Cut until they realized that there was a big push of idiots on Twitter that were like, release the Snyder Cut.
Okay. Here's why I'm not going to absolutely shit on the movie, is because it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I was in full expectation mode of this just being what we always get with these movies, which is doesn't make any fucking sense, is not coherent. Snyder was actually able to bring it together. I know he needed 4 fucking hours, but he was able to make it more of a cohesive movie in the end, in my opinion.
It was better than the first one.
I thought Steppenwolf as a villain was he's better than 60% of the villains that Marvel has in their fucking movies that make no impact. I thought he was actually a good villain, and I thought he was a good villain and was actually intimidating. So
his armor was lame, and the fact that Darkseid lost in the voiceover that they had with this when Diana was talking about it, Wonder Woman was talking about the first time they happened. They beat him the first time, so I felt like the stakes weren't that high to begin with. I feel like they shouldn't have let that. That just shouldn't have happened.
Elise says better than the first one doesn't make it good. I agree with that, but I'm also gonna not say okay. The first Snyder Cut was fucking terrible. And I think you just have to respect this one a little bit more.
The first Snyder Cut,
or the first Justice League.
The first Snyder Cut was bad. This Snyder Cut was
technically
dope.
The first Justice League.
There you go.
I thought the second half, or the third act, whatever you want to call it, I thought the ending of this movie was actually pretty good. I really like the way that the Justice League fed off of each other and used each other's powers. I love that shit. When they start utilizing each other and fucking throwing each other and fucking bashing all these Dema warrior things. I don't know. I thought the battle
DC Comics, but they're called parademons.
Yeah, and the big problem with the first Justice League was the huge action scenes. They didn't really happen. And this one actually had some good action scenes, some good battle scenes. And I don't think you can deny that. Like when they went back to Darkseid, that was some cool shit that we were seeing. At the end, the ending battle, when Superman shows up, that was fucking awesome, in my opinion. I thought that battle scene was fucking great. So
I think the problem that we have with the DC universe versus the Marvel universe is that it's like everybody else and then Superman.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Marvel universe has everybody at a certain amount of even playing ground where each one person can fight each other to a certain degree. But I just feel like Superman is so much more out of the league than everybody else that it's like almost annoying, where it's like, oh, we're fighting these demons for 4 hours. All we need is Superman. Okay, we got him. We're fine.
That was so much worse in the Whedon cut, because literally he just shows up and beats the shit out of Steppenwolf and it's over.
By himself. Yeah.
So at least the ending for this was way better than it was the first time. But that's, again, such a low bar that it gives you. I guess what I struggle the most with is to just have two people who now can just turn back the clock completely. I know I keep saying Deus Ex Machina, and it's like a buzzword, but that's literally what it is. Because at first, it's Superman shows up, he beats the fuck out of Steppenwolf. There's no more story there. The second is, okay, well, the Flash can just undo everything with zero consequences. Okay, well, that means there were no stakes in the first place. That's the issue that I have with it.
Mark?
Okay. Well, that's not like this is the first time we've ever gotten this in a movie.
No,
You know?
of course not. But most of the movies where shit like this happens, I say, well, that was dumb.
Yeah. There was a lot of dumb parts in this.
I think the major difference here, the two major differences, you have way more Alfred, which is good because Jeremy Irons is amazing. And two, you have way more Cyborg, which means you get a background for him. You get a character building for him. Joss Whedon did him so dirty.
I loved
95% of his story out of the original of this movie. No wonder he was so pissed off at Warner Brothers and Joss Whedon. I just don't. Cyborg was so much better in this than he was in the original, and it still irked me. I think his design was what bugged me the most. His relationship with his father, I don't remember at all in the Whedon cut that his father died. Am I making that up, that his father didn't die in the Whedon cut?
I don't think he did. I think he just dipped off his father. He was like, all right, I'm done with you.
Such a huge turn of events. Like all of a sudden he has something way more that he's fighting for.
Yeah.
And Cyborg is a pivotal character involved in the Justice League. So to just completely ignore that.
They washed over him in the Whedon. I agree, because I didn't really remember him very much at all. But I do feel like they added a lot more into his character and his development to make him more of a character, and I did like that, and they added the time for it. And also,
I feel like the same. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say Jeremy Irons as Alfred. He looks like he should be Robert Downey Jr.'s dad. He should have played fucking the Howard Stark. He should have played Howard Stark in Marvel because he looks just like him, honestly.
At the same time, though, I feel like they do a huge disservice to Lois Lane, and also someone that was added last minute to this that just it makes zero fucking sense for Martian Manhunter to be in this.
Yeah.
He shows up.
I think people realize that the internet has already talked about, like, all right, you've watched all this shit happen with Doomsday and all these events, of the world almost ending, and Martian Manhunter's just out there like, all right, I got you next time, bro.
Just hanging out. No big deal.
Yeah. I liked the design of Martian Manhunter. I was super pumped up when he just fucking morphed, and I was like, oh yeah, let's go. But
also he shows up on Bruce Wayne's doorstep, and Bruce Wayne's just like, what's up, alien dude? What you get to say? Like, not freaked out at all. Like,
yeah. Here's I'm just gonna say, everyone in the chat is like, we didn't need the black suit Superman. We didn't need it. This was fan service. Think of it from Snyder's perspective. Like, okay, this is my final shot at this. Most likely, I don't think I'm going to get another chance to continue this. So I'm just going to throw a bunch of shit in there that I think is cool. I'm going to throw in the Nightmare Batman stuff with the Joker. I'm going to throw in Martian Manhunter. I'm going to throw in Black Suit Superman. It was a huge fan service and got people really excited, especially the Snyder fans. So I can see why he did that. It might have not made sense, but I think he knew what he was doing.
I would love to hear your take on the nightmare scene at the end of the movie. It was basically meant to be a post-credit scene.
30-minute post-credit scene.
Yeah, seriously. I thought this movie was going to end about 12 times before it actually did. But at one point, Batman looks at the Jared Leto Joker and says, I'm going to fucking kill you. Make no mistake about it. That was the least Batman thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Killing the Joker.
Killing anyone, literally killing anyone. That is
Right.
so against everything that he stands for.
The Joker really pushes his buttons, though. But yeah, I agree. That is exactly everything opposite. But he's living in this post-apocalyptic world, though, and they know something more than we know. Something about alternate timelines and Batman not dying, but Lois dying, and this is because of Batman being a coward and not actually like taking his own life when the opportunity presented itself. Stuff like that is kind of opening it up to some theories and stuff like that.
Tank Kramer's in the chat. Don't forget he offered Batman a reach around.
He did.
What the fuck was that? He literally was like, who's going to give you a reach around if you kill me? That was the dumbest fuck. That was somehow worse than the I'm going to fucking kill you line.
What'd you think of his laugh? Bah, ah.
I'm
really
really happy if I never have to see Jared Leto as the Joker ever again.
Oh, there was a comicbook.com, I think it was comicbook.com, had an article where it's like people are freaking out over the relationship between Ben Affleck and Jared Leto's Joker. They think it might be the greatest Batman Joker scene in movies of all time. And I'm just like, get the fuck out of here. The fuck out of here, people.
You can find 5 people
You're
on the
killing
internet
me.
who agree about literally anything. That's how we ended up with flat Earth theory. So how about we vaccinate against that fucking level of stupidity? Because
And before we go past that level of stupidity, I do want to read this top audience review on Google Reviews. ZSJL, Zack Snyder Justice League, is an absolute masterpiece. ... This film is everything that a DC fan ever dreamed of. Visually stunning and narratively satisfying from start to finish. It is not just best DC EU film of all time, but also one of the best superhero films of all time. Joss Whedon should be burned. ...
That's fucked up.
fucking blow my brains out. I mean,
Yeah. I wish I could have seen your face while I was reading that, because it was probably tons of eye rolls, 1,000 eye rolls.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You see the inside of your brain.
So we
while
have-
I was reading that.
I saw the front of my brain. It's no big
We
deal.
have Tank Kramer and comics misexplained in the chat. When I said black suit Superman, so they were referring to the ending where he was still wearing, where he pulled open his shirt and he was still wearing the black suit Superman. That was not needed. Yes. Why wasn't it just the regular suit? But I guess Snyder is, he's doing.
You
his
want to talk
Snyder
about shit that wasn't needed in this fucking movie? How long you got?
The first 2
How about
hours.
you need to bring back Jesse Eisenberg ever as the worst Lex Luthor of all fucking time, making weird noises into the camera for no apparent reason. I do want to talk about why I don't think we're going to get more of the Snyderverse, and that was basically an interview with Warner Media's CEO Ann Sarnoff, and she was talking to Variety, which obviously is a very large Hollywood rag. I appreciate that the fans love Zach's work, and we were very thankful for his many contributions to DC. We're just so happy that he could bring his cut of the Justice League to life, because that wasn't the plan until about a year ago. With that comes the completion of his trilogy, which makes me think we're done here.
Mm-hmm. No, I think we are done. That's why everyone on Twitter is freaking out, all the Snyder fans.
Yeah. So she goes on to say, among the multi-dimensional DC characters being developed, there's a new Superman film, which if it's not Henry Cavill, then get fucked. A Mexican-American hero in Blue Beetle, which I'm very excited for because I think that could be good. You've got the Zatanna movie that's coming, which I think could also be good, and sequels to Shazam, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and new beginnings for Flash, Batman. Obviously, we know we're getting Pattinson. I'm so ready to never think about this movie again.
I know you are. Let me just wrap it up real quick.
Thank you.
My perspective on the movie.
I have a couple of questions to add to the end, though. So before you.
Okay. The first hour and a half was extremely slow, and I almost stopped because I was like, I thought we weren't going to get this, and we were. It was a bunch of scenes. The Aquaman scene comes to mind where the Icelandic little girls are singing that song and everything's in slow motion. It was just killing me. And I knew Snyder fans were loving this shit. And I was just like, I can't do this right now. Everything was in slow motion, but then it started to get better and piece together a lot more. It was a lot more cohesive than the first cut we got. I love the background we were getting with Cyborg. He was actually becoming a character where I was like, okay, I could see why Ray Fisher was kind of pissed off about all the events that took place. Like he was the star in my eyes in this movie. For the most part, the battle scenes were pretty good. The CGI was shoddy, but I'm not going to like shit on it completely because this was put together, within a year or whatever.
Can I cut you? I will say that the one thing that I think that was worse in this compared to the Joss Whedon cut is the initial Superman showing up and having a battle with the rest of the Justice League. I think it was better than the original. I think it was longer and they did more to flush out their powers versus Superman. Mm-hmm. And in this case, it was cut a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
That's the one area that I think it was better in the original. Everything else in this was better than that.
Okay. That's fair. Lois Lane was not needed. Her scene was pointless. It was just to show us that Martian Manhunter was in this universe.
But Well, she saved Superman, apparently. That I literally have it in my notes. Fine. I'll accept Superman is back from just going home for the first time. Whatever.
She does
4 hours long.
I'll give you that.
That's fine. I mean, it's not the coolest way to get Superman to be back to Superman, but it's fine.
Wonder Woman, the beginning with Wonder Woman was actually, I thought that was a pretty cool sequence of scenes when she just fucks up everyone. That started getting me more excited.
Wasn't that in the original trailer?
It was, but this one was a lot more like they added a lot more to it. And she threw that guy against the wall and his skull just exploded on the wall, I was like, all right, it was
a 4-hour movie. They added a lot more of everything.
Yeah. To wrap it up, yeah, it was a fan service. There was a bunch of stuff that ended up not making much sense. The nightmare scenes, I predicted this in the Instagram post. I was like, this is going to be Joker in the nightmare sequence, which would be a really cool universe to do. I don't know if Snyder should do it, but I think like the whole nightmare, I'm thinking of like 0 Year Batman from the comics. Like that would be a pretty cool universe to do where shit is just on fire.
Year Zero is so different than this though. Like it's just the Riddler has taken over, right?
Yeah.
It's not, hey,
it's still like dystopian and it does have like a post-apocalyptic type setting.
Yeah, I fucked it up. You missed it, Rick. All right. Make some good points, and I will absolutely give you that. Look, I have nothing against Zack Snyder. I have nothing against his cut and wanting to put his own artistic stamp on this. I still think that his Watchmen, like his director's cut of Watchmen, is infinitely better than what was released in theaters. So I understand that he is a guy who like needs to be able to do his full vision. He needs to be able to release everything that he saw, not trained by a movie studio. I get it. It's just I was so jaded by hearing about this constantly.
Yeah, we've heard about it for 1.5 years, 2 years almost.
More than that. Yeah, it's I'm over it. I'm glad that I never have to fucking think about it again.
Yeah, and when people say like we had people in the chat saying, yeah, it wasn't a good movie. The reason I wasn't upset and I came out of there like I actually kind of enjoyed that is because I had low expectations. You know, I wasn't a big fan of BVS. I remember sitting in the theater and I had huge Snyder fans next to me up in their seats, like literally stomping at every fucking scene. I'm like, nothing's happening. Everything is just so slow right now. But after this movie, I was like, okay, that ended pretty nicely. Like that battle scene at the end, I was kind of satisfied. So I'm not going to say that I was completely upset with this, which I wasn't. I think if you like the whole Batman DC universe, I think you should watch this movie. I'm going to say see it for that reason.
If you like that whole the Batman versus Superman universe,
I think
it does.
I think it's worth a watch.
I think
it's worth a watch. I'm going to say
I think that I want to ask you guys a yes or no question. I feel as though between this Sonic the Hedgehog and anything else where it's like, oh, we're caving into the Twitter mob now. Do you think that's setting a bad precedent for Hollywood where fans can just spam Twitter and be like, hey, give me this or fuck you?
No, because the upgrade was needed for Sonic. Sonic would not have been good if he had those weird ass teeth. And this Justice League was better than the original.
I have a stay woke for you on that. I think they released a horrible rendition of Sonic to get buzz about the movie.
They did it on purpose.
And they were like, oh, joke's on you. We had it fixed the whole time.
It's kind of genius.
Right?
It
All
would be.
Yes or no? Is this a bad precedent?
Hmm?
Yes or no? Is this a bad precedent that Twitter can just go off and demand a remake or a director's cut of something?
That's the world we live in, is the whole cancel culture. You know, watch what you say. If somebody doesn't like something, you get a bunch of people behind them to fucking back it up and make it.
How is this cancel culture?
Deal.
I would love to hear that.
It basically is. People are upset about something and they all group up and they just badger something until they're like, okay, I'll change.
This is the opposite of cancel culture. This is bring it back culture.
The ending is a little bit different. The outcome is different. Instead of just ruining somebody's career in their life, you're instead just like, all right, let's make this better. But still, I'm going to fucking shit on you until you make it better.
Okay. Meanwhile, you've got the shit. I totally just lost the names that I had in my head.
Meanwhile, you got Steppenwolf with 7 fingers for no apparent reason. I don't know why.
The worst armor.
The original Steppenwolf had a hand. This one has a hand with 2 wrist fingers. No Snyder fan can give me a real reason as to why Snyder went and did that. Like, what was
so shocked that it took you this long to mention that, because it's all you talked about for the last week.
He could take 5 baseballs and just like do the circle thing, you know, where you just like move them around in your hand.
He could throw a
2 extra fingers.
curveball though.
He could. A slider, just.
All right, let's stop talking about this forever.
No. I need to say what I had. My problems that I had with the movie.
Request culture. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you, Tank.
After saving the fisherman in the storm, Aquaman just literally litters his whiskey bottle into the ocean. You're part of the problem, man. What the hell?
He doesn't just litter it. He smashes it. Little pieces of glass are just falling down in the ocean.
Everywhere.
Kids walking on my beach, you piece of shit.
Yeah, some Aquaman, dude. Piece of shit.
You have a big tortoise that's swimming below and just fucking gets shards of glass in it.
It is one slow eye because he can't blink fast enough. I had to turn my brightness up to 1,000 because of the gray darkness of this whole fucking movie.
It's a bright ass TV you got.
Yeah. Batman, when they're in the scene where they first encounter Steppenwolf, he's like, help these people get out of here. I'll make sure these people follow me. And then he gets tossed and beaten up like he's Homer Simpson from this boxing career. Remember Simpson? Just getting beaten the shit out of it. It just like blows on the opponent and they fall over. Batman got absolutely worked out in that battle. The sniper that shoots the Flash going full speed before he goes into reverse speed is all-time god tier. How do you snipe the Flash?
No skill.
That's incredible.
It's all luck.
No shit. He has to be just shooting this guy, but he was aiming. So
it's me playing Call of Duty half the time.
When the Flash reverses time for that like flash second, I guess we'll call it that, does everyone simultaneously feel like they just had deja vu?
No, because
in the
you're
world.
erasing their memories if you're going back in time.
So that time never happened.
It never happened.
Okay.
That's how I see it.
By the way, Batman buying the bank that owns Superman's mom's house is just a long-term power play. Can we not all agree to that? Oh, Superman has superpowers?
Rates. Sorry, Martha.
Exactly. Oh, your Superman is way stronger than me. Up. Your house is actually taken over by me. So it's a power play by Batman.
Yeah, I own the bank and actually I increased your interest rate on the mortgage. So sorry.
Okay, describe this movie into 3 categories. I'll go first. Slow-mo, voiceovers, and parent issues.
So you want 3 words that sum up this entire movie?
Yeah. Slow-mos, voiceovers and parent issues. Every one of them had parent issues. Oh, my dad's in jail. He doesn't want me to be a lawyer anymore. Oh, my dad just exploded into a fucking thing as Cyborg's dad. My mom just died because of Steppenwolf. Batman naturally has bad parent issues. Who was the other one? Aquaman. My mom left me alone on the doorstep. Whatever, dude. Everyone had parent issues. It was all slow motion.
It didn't happen.
I mean, that is the base for every superhero origin ever, is like, my parents didn't love me. Except for Superman, because Superman's a huge boner.
Yeah, now his parents are owned by Batman, so it is what it is.
Masturbatory is what is the first word.
Masturbatory,
Slow.
okay.
And I'm trying to think of something nice to say.
I think we're going to say unneeded, but that works too. Nice.
No, because I actually, you know what? That's a good one. Necessary. I think it was necessary to wipe out the Whedon cut and a lot of the shitty things that Joss Whedon actually did in that movie. He overly sexualized Wonder Woman so much that didn't be done, like the butt shots and making her seem like she's flirting with Batman. Like, that's not who Wonder Woman is.
You ever see that guy though? Like a picture of him, it's not surprising. He looks like that guy.
Not at all. And especially what we know about him now. Like, I'm fucking over him and all of that shit. It just it was less than, it was below par and still necessary, which is somehow the worst compliment I can give it. Save it.
Okay. Save it, you said?
Mark, do you have 3 words to describe it or no?
I'm just going to say, there you go. Let's stop fucking talking about it, even though nobody's going to stop talking about it. They're going to keep tweeting and wanting more, all these Snyder fans. But there you go. You got what you wanted. There it is. 4 hours of it.
There you go.
Massive fucking boner. Yeah.
Massive.
All right. We're
7 fucking fingers.
Get the fuck out of here, dude. I'm so tired.
Long episode.
Yeah, I've been up since 6.
Snyder cut, baby. Snyder cut, baby. Snyder cut.
Do it 4 hours and 5 minutes, whatever.
I can't wait to finish Invincible. That is fucking amazing. There's my recommendation. It's fucking great.
Recommendation, you piece of shit. Okay.
Let's all recommend Invincible. Done.
I can't believe we did the Snyder Cut over Bad Trip with Eric Andre. Eric Andre has that movie that came out.
That looks amazing.
I cannot believe we did this instead of that, because that looks literally so funny. It's just Eric Andre being Eric Andre doing goofy shit. Has to be good. I don't even care. Even if it's going to be cringe moments, it's going to be awkward. They're going to get some genuine reactions. It's Borat for Eric Andre. Let's fucking go. Netflix.
Do we want to talk about tomorrow real quick about what we hope to do, which maybe won't happen?
We are doing it. We will have a breakdown episode of the first 2 episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier. We will also be doing a weekly YouTube show that is not Patreon only. We won't be editing it or anything like that. We'll just kind of sit down and talk about each episode of Invincible, and we'll discuss what we thought, what we think is coming next. I've read the comics. I think they're going to stray from that, because if you want to make a good show, you kind of have to. I also think that we'll go beyond the comics if this has a good reception. So we'll see by then. I'm going to just end this. I don't care what I say anymore.
No. I have one more question. Does the Snyder Cut in black and white make it even better?
All right. Thanks for tuning in episode 239 of the Chumpcast. Until next time.
What was Snyder's real vision? What was he really trying to tell us with this movie, Smithers? Should I close this out or what? Goodbye. Snyder cut, baby. Snyder cut.